Welcome to the show. I'm London. I got my man Fred Smoot. I got a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Fred, are you fired up?
You know what? I'm beyond fired up because football season is back. And guess what? If you don't feel the energy that's out here with these fans and this fan base right now, you are postless. You practically dead right now.
Absolutely. We got Logan Paulson and Santana Moss. They'll be joining us through this during the show.
Yeah.
Let's get it going, Fred.
Yeah.
What are you looking for, man? You know, we got the first day of training camp. What are you excited about?
Man, just everything. The coaches getting back to coaching, the players getting back to playing. And you know, like I know, football families win championship, and this is the time that you gel and you become a football family right now. The banging all against each other. You know how it can be kind of frustrating doing training camp. But what I do like about this team, not a lot of weaknesses on this team, and they can only get better.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at what they were able to do last season. Develop a lot of young, talented football players. I really love the youth of this team.
Yep.
Bringing in Eric Bieniemy, that's been one of the major storylines this season. What's he going to bring to this offense? Obviously, the question about Sam Howell. He's now QB1. I'm not concerned about Sam Howell. I think he's going to play some great football for us. What I love about Sam, and I've had an opportunity to spend some time with him, he has this quiet confidence about him where he kind of feeds off of people doubting him. I saw where they asked him about his Madden rating the other day.
He's not worried about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I know, London, for the first 5 to 6 weeks, that unpredictability because they don't know what the offensive coordinator offense look like. They don't know what Sam Howell look like. I think it's a secret weapon coming out the door that's going to allow us to start out fast because the teams do not have anything to study on either of these guys.
Absolutely. Now, one thing you gotta have a little bit of question marks about is the offensive line. For me, I'm less concerned about Sam Howell and more kind of interested to see what the offensive line is going to look like, how quickly they can gel as a unit. We got 4 new guys starting at 4 new different positions.
Yeah, we do.
You know, Charles Leno, the only mainstay at the position that he started last year, left tackle. Sam Cosme going to move from right tackle to right guard. We got Nick Gates coming in at center. Went out and signed Andrew Wiley in free agency. He's very familiar with Eric Bieniemy. Offensive tackle to play right tackle. And then who's going to be the left guard? Is it going to be Sadiq Charles or is it going to be Chris Paul? Whoever emerges at that spot. But how quickly can that unit gel together? That'll be really the storyline of this, not only training camp, but this season.
Well, you know, like I know, London, the offensive line is the ultimate boy band. They the ultimate boy band. The more they go on tour together, the more they practice together, the more they become one. I'm not worried about Nick Gates. He's a veteran in this division. He knows how to handle these guys, and he knows how to come out the huddle and lead that offensive line. Wiley, like you said, he's a guy that he's been to a couple of Super Bowls, a lot of playoff games. He's going to be a leader in that room. You know what you're going to get from Charles Leno. Everybody, to me, myself, Sam Cosme movement from tackle to guard is a upgrade. That is a total upgrade. Now the swing position is that left guard position. Is it Sadiq Charles? Is it Chris Paul? Who's gonna man up and win that position? But I think these guys, they just need time to play together. They need time to go against this defensive line. Because I will say this, iron sharpen iron, and if they can hold off this defensive line, it ain't too many they can't hold off in this league.
You're absolutely right, Fred. Now it's time for a special delivery presented by FedEx, where Now Meets Next. Here's Logan with Coach Rivera. Time for a special delivery presented by FedEx, where Now Meets Next. Here's Logan with Coach Rivera.
All right, Coach. Day 2 of training camp looks a little bit different than it's looked in years past with all these fans out here. What does that do for the practice?
You know, it's exciting because there's an emotion and excitement about it. So it's going to ramp it up a little bit. I think some of the guys are going to want to show off, you know, and what we got to do is make sure we can keep their focus on practice and getting better as a football team.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously first day in the books yesterday, you know, up and down, it's first day, you know. Anything you're looking for day 2?
Really what we're looking for is just guys taking what they learned yesterday, applying it today, and then their retention from the meetings last night as far as installation is concerned. I
gotcha. And so obviously people have been talking about a lot of stuff, ownership, whatever. Is there anything that people are not talking enough about with regards to this team?
Wow. You know, there's been a lot of talk about us, period. I don't think they've missed anything. I think it's been really good. We got a lot of young guys that are working real hard. Our growth and development as a football team is probably the biggest thing, you know, and I think also has a lot to do with the development of our quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, thank you so much. Good luck today. Appreciate you. Yeah, okay, all right.
Say anything?
Yeah, everyone's really excited to see you.
I know. Well, it is exciting to have the fans here. So I'm kind of fired up about that.
Yeah,
all right?
Coach. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Logan. We'll check back in with Logan, who will be with Santana Moss later. Coach Rivera here. He's entering his 4th season at the helm. What do you love about Coach Rivera?
I love this. He can just coach now. He been micromanaging front office stuff. He been micromanaging stuff off the field. Now he can come in, and I'm sure it's a big weight off of his shoulder. He can just come in and say, you know what, I can coach football. Now he can sit in different positions in different meetings, especially when he just handed the offense over to Coach Bieniemy. So he's letting him handle that. I think this will be his finest coaching hour on this team, only because no off-field distractions, only football. And I think that's helping them a lot, Lon.
Absolutely, I agree, Fred. We're going to go back out on the field to Logan and Santana. It's your Field Pass presented by Bank of America, the official bank of the Washington Commanders. Logan and Tanner, take it away.
All right, Lennon, thanks so much, man. Week 10, I'm excited to be down here, buddy.
Bro, I'm thrilled to be out here today, man. I couldn't wait. I almost couldn't sleep last night, man, just thinking about what I was going to be seeing
And
today.
it's probably a little different than from when you were a player, right?
Yeah. Oh,
because
100%.
when you were playing, I was stressed and not sleeping because of that.
Hey, I just told London, coming out here, I was like, I'm glad I don't have to put up no cleats and go and get between them white lines, buddy. Trust me, I love my spot.
Absolutely, man. All right now we're looking at the receivers doing routes on air. We got Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett down working with them. And I think, we talk about this every kind of period, OTAs, minicamp. It's just so important to kind of start building that rapport with the quarterback, right?
I mean, I love it. I mean, one of the things that I always look forward to is just this drill. As a receiver, I want to get those routes on air because this is going to give me a chance to get the timing down for some of the routes I'm going to be doing throughout the day. Everything that we're doing in this period is something that we're going to probably go over in the team period, the 7-on-7, whatever, period we have to go against with the team or against others. So I love, these routes on air. Very important.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because it does reflect the install. And what install is kind of those plays that are going in today.
Yeah.
Just kind of reviewing the concept, reviewing the timing, reviewing the steps.
No
I
doubt.
think a lot of people understand that a lot of route concepts are step-based to help with the timing.
And then one of the things, too, man, that we take for granted is just knowing how that ball is going to feel. You know what I mean? Like a lot of guys look at us and say, well, those guys are receivers. They catch the ball. And trust me, you have to feel how that quarterback is feeling that day.
Yeah.
Some of them come out there, their arm is on fire, so they don't have that much. You know what I mean? And then some of those guys out there, they're loose. Right now, we in the second day, so their arms are revving right now. So these receivers better make sure to be ready for that.
I just remember you told me a story the other day about Robert Griffin III.
Oh my God!
And how he used to just let that sucker rip.
I would never forget him just by looking at some of my fingers. I'm like, okay, yeah, he broke that one. He broke that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a little bit of a transition here. It's nice to have the fans out here, Tana. Look at this setup out here in the stands, man. They've just got so many people out here in attendance.
Look,
as a player, you feed off of that.
We had fans, but I love the stands. The stands, to me, makes it look a little more like Richmond.
Yes.
Richmond is the same vibe and the feeling that we had at Richmond. I didn't get a chance to go to Richmond until my last 2 years here, so it was great to have a change. But I love the feeling that these fans bring. I'm happy these fans are excited about this season. It's going to get these guys going in practice every day.
And it does help kind of get through practice a little bit. It helps with the juice a little,
Man, it's almost like a game. You have the eye on you. I mean, we always talk about the eye in the sky, when you have the film watching you. But it almost, too, when you don't want to mess up in front of these fans. Some of them get on you. You done heard those, you drop a ball, or, one of the fans, getting at you the next day or telling you, man, you got to make that play today. So when you're a player, you're very conscious about not, having a bad performance in front of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're working through, it looks like some type of walkthrough. And again, people don't understand how often you need to walk through, right? It's like you have the meeting time, so they probably had meetings last night. They probably had a quick meeting this morning, and then they're going to take that install that we just talked about, and now they got to walk through. So the plays you're seeing here are stuff that you're going to do in practice, and I always thought that this was super helpful just to make sure you're dialed in a little bit.
Trust me, man, I love each and every time I'm on the field. I didn't take no drill for granted. The walkthrough times, the times where we get a chance to try, even when I know Coach say I don't want you running, I still will go out there and just strut my stuff a little bit because I want my muscle memory to understand this is my tempo today. This is what I'm trying to do. And for the guys that had problems, you know, who dealing with just, you know, remembering things, you know, these periods was crucial because now they get a chance to see us do it. And then if you're a veteran, you're a guy who knows, you get a chance to walk them through and let them know that, hey, man, make sure you pay attention to this or use this as a pivotal point. When you hear this word, this is how you know the line in this, you know, area or whatever.
Yeah, and the other thing I used to love about this is you kind of get to see the coverages that they're expecting for the day. You get to see kind of, oh, the defense is installing, let's say they're installing cover 6, they're installing cover 2, or they're installing a bear front. I get to see that now and kind of work through my combinations, work through my steps in a not in a classroom setting, on the field. And then the other thing that I love about this is you get to work substitutions, right? Yeah. We're going from 12, we're going 13, we're going 21, we're going whatever it is, 11, and just working those logistics because I don't want my first live reps being in the first team period.
And then also knowing, you know, what folks don't know who watch us practice or watch the games, you automatically know what route you're going to be running that day because the coach might say, hey, you're going to be in on this play. So that guy gets the chance to know that, okay, let me do these routes now and pay close attention to what I need to be doing so you can have a solid outing. You know what I mean? I will always, I never took for granted, but I respect just knowing that, hey, this is what we went over earlier that day, so I shouldn't have a chance. I shouldn't be, talked to the wrong way saying that I didn't go out there and do my assignment.
Right. Yummy Brown, nice catch out there. We've talked about him quite a bit, you know what I'm saying, as kind of who's going to be that fourth guy. It seems like it's going to be him. What's your expectation for him? Because he's kind of an interesting spot. Him, Dax Mills, all those young receivers, from Stanford, UCLA, Penn State. What's your expectation for him for the show?
I got high hopes for Diami. I'm one of his probably biggest fans and biggest critics.
Well, you're a receiver. You should.
Most receivers are they pay close attention to each other. I think he's a star. Yeah. I think he's a star on the team with a bunch of other stars, and I'm waiting for him to shine.
You think he can be a star?
Bingo. You know what I mean? He hasn't shined yet, but I think he's one of those guys that we can have, great hopes of him going out there flourishing this year. You have a familiar piece in the backfield, his quarterback, and that should kind of ignite his fire a little bit.
Yeah, all right. Tana, can't wait to watch more practice with you. London, back to you.
Thanks, guys. Coming up next, we're talking with wide receiver Jahan Dotson. Heading into his second season, we'll talk about what we expect from number one.
Are you on your way?
Yep, coming.
And Mom and Dad?
Don't worry, they'll be there.
Happy anniversary!
Go beyond the expected with the #1 most dependable mass market brand 3 years in a row by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
Hey, it's me, food. I'm so much more than just what we eat. I'm hand-cut, fresh and frosted. I love it. Aw, I love you too. See, life is always something new. All messy, frantic, and amazing. And from where I sit, you look delicious. That's why every day is worth celebrating. If you can. Stay fresh. Sincerely, food. Sincerely, Safeway.
No, they did it Alba, right? Get out, friend. You're on the camera too. I don't know why they are moving around. That is not, It's bad.
I love watching these young wide receivers play the game. Just throw it up in the air, baby. I'll get it. Nobody can cover this guy here.
Looking for the end zone. Touchdown! Dotson!
The ball's in the air. I gotta go get it.
Looking for Jahan Dotson. 101. Made a catch in front of Jason Pinner. And he's tackled at the 30-yard line. What a catch by Dotson!
Welcome back. There's Jahan Dotson on the field, looking to follow up on his impressive rookie campaign. Logan Paulson caught up with him after the first practice of camp on Wednesday. It's your player profile presented by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Washington Commanders.
Logan Paulson here with a guy who needs no introduction after that stellar rookie season, Jahan Dotson. First day of training camp practice, how'd that go for you today?
It wasn't too bad, getting into the swing of things. It's fun always getting back out here with the guys. It's a little hot one, but I'm enjoying it. This is what I love to do, so it's fun.
You're coming out, you're going to survive it, right? You're going to make it happen, right? So first year, going from year 1 to year 2, first off season, I should say. How'd that go for you? Anything you felt like you needed to work on after getting a full year of film?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely number one, making sure my body's ready coming into camp and ready to endure 18 weeks of a season, including preseason. But just for sure that, and then, just honing in on my skills, perfecting my craft, little things that I watched in my film that I need to pick up on or get better at. So I'm just trying to perfect my craft.
So you said you did some stuff physically that was a little bit different. Can you talk about that? Some extra hamstring work, some more running? What was it?
Yeah, for sure, some extra hamstring work. Making sure those hammies are ready because we're going to be running a lot. So just making sure that I'm ready and making sure I'm at a good playing weight so that I'm comfortable, able to endure a whole season.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about some of the skills you're working on. And last year, in our first interview, you were so impressive about understanding coverages and leverages. How do you improve on that skill set that's already pretty dialed in?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a pretty good receiver as in feeling coverages and stuff like that. But I want to play faster, and then always working on my hands. My job is to catch the ball, so that's number one. I'm making sure that I get my catches in every single day, and just make sure I'm playing fast.
Talked a lot about the physical development there, running routes, catching the football, taking care of the hamstrings, all that physical stuff. How is it learning a new offense with Eric Bieniemy, and how has he been coaching you?
Yeah, it's been fun, honestly. It's really exciting. We get to stretch the field. We're getting the ball in our playmakers' hands with a lot of space to work with. So it truly is really fun and really exciting to look forward to.
He coached me in college, Eric, and very unique coaching style, let's say. How have you responded to that?
Yeah, it is a unique coaching style, for sure that. I'm responding to it well, though. He means well in what he says. I know he's going to bring the best out of me, so I'm trusting in him, and I know he's perfecting, making sure we perfect our craft.
Absolutely, and so obviously, everyone says iron sharpens iron, right? You got some really good DBs on the other side of the field. You got some new faces. How is it kind of adjusting to their skill set, specifically Emmanuel Forbes?
Yeah, it's been really fun. There's a reason he was drafted in the first round, so it's really fun going against him. It's good on good work, and that's pretty much how you get better. Going against the best at all times. So I'm really looking forward to this camp going against all the guys.
Yeah, you had a really good battle against him during OTAs and minicamp. Forbes, I'm talking about. Have you figured him out yet?
That's a good question.
I don't mean that in a bad way. That might have come out bad, but I'm saying because he's a good football player. He's new, and it's really hard to deal with new players.
Yeah, for sure. It is really hard to deal with new players. Feeling him out a little bit, getting to know the things that he likes to do, obviously. But yeah, it's fun just competing. That's what it's all about. Just making sure that you compete at a high level at all times and making sure you make each other better.
Awesome. And any goals for training camp? Anything that you're got your eyes set on, or any kind of big events you're looking forward to during training camp?
Getting better each day. Making sure I get 1% better each day, and I'm improving on my skills.
Jahan, thank you so much for your time. Good luck, man, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Here's a look at the numbers Jahan put up during his rookie season. He put up a team-leading 7 touchdowns through 7 games. Then he earned Pepsi Rookie of the Week honors in both his NFL debut against the Jaguars and again in his Week 15 performance against the Giants. All right, Fred, we're talking about Jahan Dotson, man. Going into his sophomore season. He had a great rookie year, and it got derailed a little bit with the hamstring injury, 7 touchdowns. What do you love about Jahan?
Route running. He's a route running extraordinaire. He knows how to get in and out of cuts without wasted motion. Most of his touchdowns came in the red zone, so they tell you he's very good in the phone booth. So if a wide receiver can break your ankle in the phone booth, that tells you a lot. And he reminds me of a guy I had to play a lot against when I was a younger guy, and that was Keenan McCarty. He reminds me of a faster version of Keenan, meaning he's going to run pinpoint routes, strong at the point of attack, and he's actually better after the catch than people give him credit for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was impressed just watching him, the savviness that he had in his route running and he setting up defensive backs. kind of showing that he's about to, block, and then he's slipping them and catching touchdown passes. There were some times where this kid in the middle of the field running option routes, choice routes, things like that. One time he hit a guy with 2 moves in the middle of the field against the Giants, and it's like
I know exactly
his quickness
what you're talking
and
about.
his understanding of route running and how to get open.
Yeah.
It's light years ahead of where most rookies come in.
I was about to say
think about
that.
this. Most of the times when you go from your first year to your second year, you grow exponentially.
The game slows down.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like for him already having that season under his belt?
If you're a DB and you studied him, like the one thing you know about him, he's going to try to set you up on every move. He knows how to attack blind spots of a cornerback. He knows how to set you up knowing that he's going to go back outside and take that inside stab. He understands route running. Now he go to the big thing this year is, can he start to beat people deep? Now if he can add that to his repertoire and start to really beat people deep, the whole route tree is open for this kid.
Oh yeah, and what will happen is that's on Eric Bieniemy too, from a standpoint of setting up his routes where he's running hitches, he's running the short and intermediate routes, and you as a defensive back, you get tired of him hitting you with those routes, and then you start to say, okay,
I start to panic. I get itchy.
Or you also say, well, he's not going to take me deep. And now he comes off and he has
deep speed. No, he can run.
So he, play designs, the deep over routes, the deep. He caught a couple deep balls last year.
Yeah.
I would love to see them throw more deep balls, which I'm sure they'll have more deep balls dialed up for him this season.
This is the year for him, because at the end of the year, Terry is going to draw all the double teams. So he's going to be backside one-on-one most of the time. All right, moving him inside, outside, making sure that the defense has to find him, I think is going to be what really leads him into a big year. And let's not forget, he don't drop many passes, and you got to love that as a coach.
Not at all, man. I tell you, man, it's Jahan Dotson, one of my favorite receivers coming out, just looking at him, and he lived up to the billing. I know a lot of our fans last year when we missed on Garrett Wilson and we missed on Chris Olave, and it was like, okay, we got Jahan Dotson, who they were saying he's the 5th best wide receiver.
But he was the most polished out of all of them.
Absolutely.
He was the most polished out of all of them. Played at Penn State by himself. He didn't have 3 or 4 other guys on his team.
He was that
number
dude.
1. He was the guy that you had to stop, and consistently nobody could stop him.
And you know who else are some dudes?
Who that?
Logan and Santana. And that's why we're going to send it back out to those guys right now.
Tana, we talked a lot about Dyami Brown earlier, and I think that receiver room just needs to kind of a double click on, especially because of how they're going to be utilized in this offense, right?
No doubt.
You got Terry, you got Jahan. What's the expectation for both of those guys this year under EB and under the new offensive staff?
I mean, the sky's the limit for them all. I just think when you watch the body of work from Jahan in his first season, just knowing how he started, great catch. Just knowing how he started. Understanding what it took for him to get back on the field when he got injured, and then finishing the way he did. I mean, trust me, man, I can't wait to see him out here. I think he's one of the slept-on route runners in this division. I think he might be tops. I say the best, but there's plenty of guys that you can choose from. But he's just one of those special talents that he does everything right. You get a receiver every now and then that he's fast but doesn't have great hands, or he's quick and doesn't have great speed. To me, I think he checked all boxes. Hands, speed, quickness, route running ability, and savviness, and then being smart. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in his offense. I'm pretty sure that these coaches know what they have as a weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. He was so smart last year. Every interview we gave, he was playing chess when everyone else was playing checkers in terms of rookie play. Another thing that I want to talk to you about is, in this little period we're watching right now, we've seen the receivers used in a multitude of different ways. Screens, jet sweeps, all that kind of stuff, right? How do you expect these guys to be used, and how does that make you better as a receiver when that's going on?
Well, I think when you have special guys like we have, each one has a different talent. It's very rare that you get all 3 receivers that you can put in motion, all 3 receivers that you can flank out of the backfield because of their speed. You very seldom see a core of guys that has all those traits, and I think with all that being said, you don't have to worry about doing so much with one of them. You can use them all at the same.
Yeah, and the other thing I think that's going to be so important is that they're going to be going against one of the best defenses in football, right? They've had some really key position adds here this offseason. This defense, everyone talks about Forbes, everyone talks about Quan, but they had a really good secondary to start. Here we see them running over the field. I guess they're getting ready to do some 7-on-7 or something like that. But Cam Curl's healthy, man. They're just such a talented group in the back end. I mean, how does that make the receivers better, and how does that make the defensive backs better?
All week leading up to these practices, we've been talking about what group are you going to be watching. I'm watching both of those. I told you before, I can't get enough of just seeing the receivers sharpen the DBs sharpen the receivers. Iron shines iron. And we have those guys. We don't talk enough about Fuller. We don't talk enough about how good he's going to be with these young guys.
How patient he's been, and how he understands the scheme at such a high level.
Man, I watched Fuller play last year, and I'm not sure what was bothering him, but you can tell he had a little hiccup in his get-up, and just to know that he's a year removed, he's probably paid close attention to that, whatever was bothering him, and now he's out here to go out here and be able to strut his stuff amongst a slew of young guys that are very skillful and talented. So I can't wait to see these guys.
And that's something Fred's always talking about is how Fuller impacts Forbes.
Yeah.
Because I think Forbes is a guy who's very smart. You love his college film. You love his instincts, right? But having a guy that knows the scheme at a high level and can make some of these competitive plays, I think is super important.
It's super important.
Great catch by
right there, I just saw Forbes covering the tight end, and I watched how patient he was. And I watched how he allowed the big body to get in front of him and still found a way to undercut it. He's going to be pressure, man. He's a guy. It's one thing to come in and people say, "Oh, we saw you do this on the collegiate level." But he's impressed me every time I saw him line up against someone. He shows that time and time again that he's going to find a way to cover you and be around the ball.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about the corners because that's where the first 2 draft picks went to. Is Quan's kind of that safety nickel, but corner I would say. But then you get Forrest, man, who's playing at such a high level, and I think he's just got an excellent football player, just getting better each and every year. What's the expectation for him? And I can't wait to watch him play.
I'm sure he have high hopes for himself, but I know just watching him play last year, find his way to get into the ball. I think that last game of the season is something that probably is going to leave a bad taste in his mouth. He left a bad taste in my mouth when I just saw him in coverage a couple of times. But he didn't have his guy back there. He didn't have Cam, and that goes to show you how much Cam means to that secondary. You know what I mean? But I think D4, he's one of those guys, man, that you can expect high things too, just knowing with all those other added additions, it's going to raise his level of play up.
Absolutely. I totally agree. He plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. He plays hard, he plays instinctive, he plays physical. And I think just another year with Cam next to him, getting that communication done is going to be so important. The other guy that I want to talk to you about is Benjamin St. Juste, man. Like, he's going from outside back to inside. He's such a unique guy at the cornerback position with the length, with the height, with the quick short area movement skills. I mean, if we can get all 3 of those guys in the field, Fuller, St. Juste, and Forbes, like that's going to be a very formidable.
That'd be great, and I think this year 3 for St. Juste. So normally around year 3. I mean, this is back in the dinosaur days when I was playing. That's when you really see guys come out of that shell.
Yeah, that's true.
We saw him show a little glimpse of what he can be last year, but you got to remember the year before that he missed a whole lot of that season because of dealing with concussions. Year 3 is the year he must come out of his shell. I think it's going to be a year that's prime for him to go out there and really show that he can be on the same caliber as some of these other names we talk about, the Surtains and all those guys out here in the league. But I think he has that potential, and it's all about him now. He has to show what these coaches believe in. That's why he's one of those top guys that's coming back for us this year.
Yeah, nice catch by Jahan right there. Another thing interesting is, Khalid Hudson working with the ones right now.
Yeah.
And then, Cody Barton also working with the ones. So, I mean, guys, just so much more practice to watch. Jamin Davis just trotted out there. Excited to see him. He didn't do anything during OTAs. But, man, so much more practice to watch. And, London, back to you.
Hey, listen, Fred, the defensive backs, man, we got a lot of versatility on that backfield. We got your boys from Mississippi State, the Bulldogs. What do you love about this defensive backs?
Man, I love injecting the youth. Injecting the youth and the speed. A lot of people not talking about Quan Martin. Quan Martin is one of them jack of all trades. Ask me to play inside, I can do it. Ask me to play outside, I can do it. Big nickel in the middle of the field, I can do it. Then you go get some length with Emmanuel Ford out there, putting him, matching him up with St. Juste, another guy that's 6'2", 6'3".
Yes.
So at the end of the day, is what do we have here? And I think where Coach Del Rio was really kind of mad last year, even though they was a top 5, top 7 defense, we didn't get the ball back enough. And if you ever want to help Sam Howell have a good first year, get him some short field and get him the ball back, and that's what I think this back end gives them a chance to do.
We got some guys that can take the football away. You mentioned Emmanuel Forbes. He's one of the best at taking the ball away. Quan Martin, brings that ability to take the football away. Kendall Fuller, God, I haven't heard anybody say one word about Kendall Fuller.
Because he's so trusty. He one of them guys. You don't like when you know how you got your third child that does nothing, but does everything you ask him to do. You never have to worry about it. Like my grandma said, well, I need to pay attention to the other ones. Right? So at the end of the day, Kendall just one of them guys. He's the veteran of the group. He's the brains of the group, and he can line everybody up and help them. But I'm gonna tell you what's really gonna help this back end get some picks. That front. Front is gonna help them really take the ball away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned the front. Yeah. You know, Chase Young, he looks phenomenal. I mean, it's a contract year for him and Montez Sweat. Yeah. They're both motivated. He's healthy. They're going to get after it. But I got to talk about my linebackers, man. I'm a little biased to my linebackers. Jamin Davis going into his third year. I thought he made a lot of strides last year as a second-year player. There was plays where he flashed that athleticism, flashed that speed. Now they want to see him take that next step. They bring in Cody Barton, signed him as a free agent from the Seattle Seahawks.
That's who I want to talk about because a lot of people not talking about him because he's a one-year starter. But you know how it is because I watched Antonio Pierce become a one-year starter and become a Super Bowl champion. Like once a guy get his chance to make his imprint on this league, I think Cody Barton is one of those guys. People ask me what he do good. I say, well, actually he does everything good. He just one of them players that's not great at one thing. He came in the league as safety, so covering would never be a problem.
He can run.
Never be a problem to him. The question is, can he shed those blocks when it's time to get that B gap and that A gap?
He can. I studied a lot of film of him last year from Seattle once we signed him as a free agent, and I went and studied film him because, quite frankly, I wasn't familiar with his game. So I'm looking at him. Big linebacker, 6'2", nice size, can run, can play in space, can cover, can tackle, sure tackling in space, and that's what you need in today's NFL. You need your linebackers to be able to run, play in space, cover, whether it's tight ends or sometimes you're going to be matched up with receivers and being able to do those things. But he can get off blocks. He doesn't stay stuck to those blocks like Velcro. He does a great job of getting off blocks, using his hands. And I want to see who emerges as that third back.
Oh, it's Khalid Hudson. I'm going to put it out there. Khalid Hudson, every time he get a chance to play, he imprints the game.
He does.
I don't care if it's special team. I don't care if it's run. I don't care if it's pass. That's another linebacker that used to play safety. That's what they're going to now. If these guys ain't London and running a 4-3 when they come out, you know what? They're going to find safeties that they feel like body is going to grow into it. And I think Khalid Hudson, man, he's just one of those guys. Some guys you can't keep off the field. Like every chance, like Chris Clemens was one of those guys. Every time we gave Chris a chance, he went out there and he got sacks. So at the end of the day, Khalid Hudson is that guy I'm keeping my eye on in that linebacker room.
When Khalid got an opportunity to start that last game of the season against the Dallas Cowboys, I was extremely impressed with him, and I watched him play, and I'm like, man, why hadn't he been playing more before that? Because I know they're concerned about his size a little bit. He's 6 foot, maybe about 220.
But that's what they doing these days.
But we talk about can he get off the blocks. There were times where he had to take on those big linemen for the Dallas Cowboys, and he was able to shed them, get off the blocks. He has great technique, and having been a former linebacker, I don't care how big you are. If you're 6'2", 250, or if you're 6 foot 220, if you don't have great technique and using your hands to get linemen off of you, it doesn't matter. And that's one thing that I was impressed with Khalid, his ability to get off blocks, not stay blocked, and be able to make plays. And so that's what I'm looking forward to. We got more stuff coming from training camp. I can't wait to come back and talk to my man Fred Smoot. When we come back, we'll talk about the guy throwing the ball to those wide receivers, Sam Howell, what he's looked like at camp, and what fans' expectations should be. That's right. After this really quick break on Command Center Coverage Camp Live, presented by Ortho Virginia.
Have fun, sis. Have fun, sis.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
in-play betting, because a lot can happen in 4 quarters. You can wager on the spread, game props, player props, totals, and the money line. Bet365 is the world's favorite sports book for many reasons. In-play betting is just one of them.
Hey there, buddies.
He has returned.
I'm back.
Big 100 is Washington's classic rock with the Don Geronimo Show mornings.
And I didn't show up alone. Big 100 is the new flagship station for the Washington Commanders.
Don Geronimo, the Washington Commanders, and Washington's classic rock, all on Big 100. Ask your smart device to play Big 100 on iHeartRadio.
Dad, we're gonna be late.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
We want you to feel great and proud to come to work as a Washington Commander employee and to go out in the community and reverberate that feeling back and feel like you're doing something great.
If you believe in that, clap 2 times. Change is sometimes hard, but this change today is going to be easy and good because we're going this way.
The most important thing to me in my life is family, and from now on we're all family, and so let's do this.
You're the ones I grew up with. You're the ones I inspired to be.
I used to work in the stands here, and when I signed here, I got the freeze, and I was like, man, it's like the greatest thing ever. And then look at what you did. Like, you just did the greatest thing ever. You owned the team, man.
This is a great organization. It's a great community to be part of, and you should want to be here. So thank you all. That's the only day of my life. Bless you guys.
It is my pleasure to formally introduce the new owner of the team and managing partner of the Commanders, Josh Harris.
I feel a tremendous sense of responsibility to this city to win championships, to create a positive impact on the community, and create great experiences and memories for future fans just like I had growing up as a kid.
Thank you, Josh! 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 Thank you, Josh!
This is the greatest sports franchise in the world.
Who are we? The Commanders! Come on, y'all! Commanders! Say it again! Commanders! It's like the RTC, who are we? Commanders!
The fans were excited. What a cool event. And if you're fired up and want to get tickets, we have a no fees deal going on right now. The deal ends Sunday, so head to commanders.com/tickets to get yours with the promo code no fees, all one word. It's time for us to finish strong, presented by Ortho Virginia, the official orthopedic and sports medicine partner of the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, you want to.
Okay. We're back on this show. Logan, got all these different position groups to talk about.
Absolutely, man. So let's start off, man. You guys were talking about linebackers, just gushing over linebackers. Right?
Yes.
I wanted to get Tanya's takes on the linebackers real quick.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that group?
Well, I'm very pleased to see, because that's one of the groups we haven't talked about all season. Mm-hmm. We've been talking mostly about, the front, the guys up front, the guys in the back end, and I think the linebackers is going to be the sleepers. I think these guys that we saw, the Hudsons, Milo, we already know our guy, back there who everybody loves to hate.
Yeah. I don't know why they hate Jamie Davis.
I don't understand
so
why, but I think they're going to be one of those groups that we're very impressed with. And you know how we set up, we had the Buffalo nickel out there most of the time, but I think those guys, 2 of those guys are going to thrive in that, and I think it's going to be Jamin and Jahan Hudson right now, to me, he leading the way.
First of all, because of the front, you can't say what these linebackers are going to do. Because if London was playing behind this defensive line, you're talking about sideline to sideline, they draw all the attention. So best believe the guys on the second level has a chance to play downhill. I talked to Jack Del Rio. He wants to be even more aggressive than he was last year because he think he got the guys on the back end that can hold him down for 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Now let's get to the quarterback.
Oh, absolutely, man. You talk about what would I do in this
What would you do behind this defensive line?
I would set all kinds of records. But this group, you're going to play Jamin. Obviously, I like the way Jamin has emerged. You saw his football IQ expanding and growing week by week. Got off to kind of a rough start against Jacksonville. The next week against Detroit, he was better. And
making plays.
He made even more plays against the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's what you want to see with a young player. Just see him continue to grow.
All right, and you guys were talking a lot about the defensive line. And that's kind of the bell of the ball when it comes to this training camp, this OTA, everything. Everyone's been talking about that group because they have the potential to be something really, really special. Fletch, you said you were setting records behind that group, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you expect from that group? And golly, I mean, I think 10 sacks a year could be a reasonable thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely. When you look at this this group, this defensive front, I mean, where do you start? Do we start with Jonathan Allen? Do you start with Deron Payne?
Give them all their flowers, man. Give them all their flowers.
Listen, all those guys, a healthier Chase Young. Who do you double team?
Nobody.
You're going to create situations to have one-on-ones across the line of scrimmage, and those guys, I can't say this enough. Montez Sweat and Chase Young are both in contract years, and you want to play your best football during your contract season. I expect them both to have phenomenal seasons this year.
Yeah, but see, y'all forgetting about Fadarian Mathis. You're forgetting about Big Ridgeway. That not
He's
only
a big man.
Are they good, they are, the depth there is unbelievable. You can't keep Ridgeway off the field. So at the end of the day, I think that group changes games because you got to ask yourself on every side of the ball, special teams, offense and defense, which group has the chance to change every game, and I think it's the defensive line.
Speaking of Ridgeway, he's a guy that we don't give a lot of credit for because if you think about last year, the reason why Payne was able to do what he does and Allen's able to do what he does because Ridgeway is that big guy taking on the load.
Playing the nose, playing the nose.
He's taking on everybody. So we know how important that role is because Payne was that guy a couple of years ago. So we have to give him his flowers. But I just still feel that, man, as a core, these guys, one of those cores, they almost like receivers. You see them coming in when they fresh. It's going to be hell for the opposing offensive line knowing that these guys coming off the sideline fresh.
And Fred, I'm disappointed in you.
Why is that?
We were talking about the defensive line. We were hyping them all up, right? But usually, Fred's always talking about how the front's got to be connected to the back end, all this stuff. That didn't even come up one time in this conversation. Fred, new additions in the back end. I know you're excited about one of them specifically.
I'm excited about all of them.
About all of them.
You know why I'm excited for them? Because they do play behind this defensive line, and that gives DBs chance to go out there and make plays. With the new offensive coordinator, maybe we play with leads for a change instead of playing, a 10-10 game the whole time. I think this defensive back is capable of not only turning the ball over, I think they're capable of shedding some guys out. I think you got length with St. Juice, you got length with Forbes, I think you got brains with Fuller. I think you got a lot with that back end group, and I haven't even talked about Cameron Curl, the glue, the guy that does everything back there. Also plays a little linebacker too when he's
But let's talk about how that affects the rush. When they're really locked in there, Fletch, how does that affect the rush?
It gives the defensive line more times to get after the quarterback. And that's what Fred's always talking about, being connected. The rush and the coverage have to be connected. On the defensive backfield, if you got guys getting open right away, it doesn't allow the pass rush enough time to get after the quarterback. But if you're sticky in coverage, if you make the quarterback, one thing that I want to see them do a little bit more of is disguise coverages. Showing one thing and morphing into something else. Showing a 2 deep and then morphing into a single high or vice versa. Because what it does is force that quarterback to hold on to the football just a half a second or a second longer, and that allows this potent pass rush to get after the quarterback.
And speaking of, those guys in the back end, a lot of the times that's where you see those interceptions come into play because even if he don't check off, if he say, hey, I have to get rid of this ball because I don't want to be sacked, now you got him throwing the ball up for grabs with a guy that's capered. He clamped. You know how you say it back in those days. You got those clamps on those guys. So I talk about it time and time again. As a receiver, you could put anybody out there on me when the front guys out there getting after my quarterback. It don't matter who you have at DB. If I can't run my route because he has too many guys in his face, then I'm covered. He has to go to the next man. He has to get off me and find the next.
And
open
another
guy.
thing nobody ever talks about until it happens is tip balls. With these defensive linemen, with these DNs, they're going to tip a lot of balls. The question is, who's coming down with them?
Yeah.
My money's on Cameron Curl this year. My money's on Cameron
Listen,
Curl.
here's something that a guy that I want to hear you guys' opinion on, because sometimes I get a little bit biased. This is an Ohio guy we don't hear a lot about. Derek Forrest, Default.
Yeah,
he's actually my favorite player to watch on defense because, you know, you look at him, not the biggest kid, but he flies around, he makes plays. Last season, he was a godsend. Some of the plays he made in the back end, covering up, making up for some lapses in coverage, things like that. Derek Forrest is one of the most underrated players, not just on our football team, but I feel in the National Football League.
Well said. A guy that just don't get enough love,
you
enough
said
props.
no one was talking about him. We were just talking about him. We were just talking about how much we love him.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, man, we love us some DeForest, and we. Ken, you were saying this, right? In year 2, kind of with Cam Curl back, understanding like how to play the position with a more heady mentality, because physically we know we can do it. But I think he's very, very talented, and 3 turnovers last year to show for it. So
I mean, he played a big role in some of our success in that back end last year. But we also know we got to give a lot of credit to Cam being that quarterback back there. He's the guy that leads the crew. But Defoe, he's one of those guys. Like like I say, it's not only just that he can fly around. He's getting his hands on the ball, but he's a guy that guy's scared of too, because he won't put that hat on you.
Look, I was just about to say that. He will bring the wood. He will lay that lumber.
Hey, listen, when you're working for the lumber company, that's all you can do is lay that lumber.
That's right. We're going to come back. He's a hard hitter. And us four, we'll be back Tuesday with more hard-hitting coverage from Training Camp Live or Command Center Camp Live presented by Ortho Virginia. Make sure you see us Tuesday, same time with this great content.